What's up, guys? We're here at another Teach Me Tuesday. I'm gonna ask you one question.
What's
Have
that?
Have you ever been prepared to buy a home but didn't know what it took to be a homeowner? In this episode, we're gonna talk about the mindset you need to have in order to be a homeowner. What's up, guys? My name is Wilmot Berry with eXp Realty. I'm a team lead here in the Orangeburg area, helping my clients reach their real estate goals. I have the Abraham team with me. Here they go.
Ladies
I
first.
am I am LaShawn Abraham. I am the sales manager for our Gill Mortgage Company out in our Somerville, South Carolina location. We are definitely excited to be here today to talk about the mindset of real estate. And so I am doing this alongside my husband, Mr. Gavin Abraham. Go right ahead.
Hey, what's up, EJ? Hey,
DJ.
guys, Team Abraham, Gavin Abraham, bringing the good energy and excitement about Teach Me Tuesday today. Um, we're gonna hit it. We're gonna get that. We're gonna prepare your mind to help you guys wrap yourselves around how you should go about purchasing a home, how you should go about selling a home, just how to prepare yourself, and the things that you can run into throughout either a home buying or home selling process. So, uh, without further ado, I'd say let's get to it.
Awesome, awesome. LaShawn, I think you're on mute. Okay. Yeah. So LaShawn, you want to start us off or how you want to do it?
Yeah, so kind of exactly what you said. I like the question that you kind of posed in the beginning. So if you ever thought about buying a house, how did you really prepare? You was asking Gavin and myself, like, did we prepare? To be honest, is when we bought our first home, we was not prepared at all. We just
Mm,
was like, oh yeah, this sounds like a great idea. We should buy a house. Let's just reach out to a realtor and figure out how to get things started. But we wasn't prepared. We wasn't prepared mentally in
mm,
regards to just thinking about, the cost aspect. We didn't really put too much thought into, okay, like location, where we want to be. We knew that we wanted to be within a certain school district, but we didn't really think about just the mental process of what it takes to truly own a home and how to really navigate that process. So in today's episode, like you mentioned, we're going to kind of talk about those things. We're going to talk about the preparation, how to kind of get you there mentally, because I feel like everything starts in the mind. Because once you truly can think about it and you really conceive it, then you kind of start putting that stuff into action. So just to get started, Gavin, so what would you say? What would you say a person needs to do to start preparing for home ownership? If they say, we're on the cusp of the end of the year, we're about to go into people going to make their New Year's resolutions, business planning, setting their goals for the following year. If home ownership is on that list, how should they prepare?
Well, first, I'm gonna just start by kind of talking about my mindset when we first purchased our first home, right? I mean, I know today's a different market than it was, when we purchased over like 12 years ago, and it was one of those things where I think a lot of driving factors for people, which was a driving factor for us, was we got tired of bouncing from place to place, moving from here to there, and it geared our mindset from, man, if I have to move into another apartment complex and these people don't fix what I need them to fix or do the things I need them to do, I'm gonna lose it. And it just drove us, somebody planted the seed. I believe it was your dad. Shout out to him. That planted the seed is like, why don't y'all buy a house? And it was like, well, why didn't we think of that before? And our mindset at that time wasn't like we prepared. We weren't prepared financially per se. We weren't prepared as far as the process. Any kind of education wise, and we didn't really have a starting point. We just knew that this person's a realtor. My uncle's a realtor. Let's reach out to him and let them guide us through the way, which works out, and it works out for numerous people that's in that same state of mind right now. So how we gear our mindset to be ready and prepared um, to purchase in this market, which is a complete difference because yeah, back then pricing was a whole lot lower, was a whole lot lower and a little bit more easier to make a decision to really just go from this to that versus where now you have to take into consideration, man, well, your budget. You really have to look at where, if you're if you're, depending on where you are in life, like you said, the school districts, in preparation for that. And then also you got to take into consideration, what I didn't think about was traffic. Man, if you live here in Charleston, I know it may not apply to all areas, but if you live here in Charleston, man, if you work on, you know, somewhere in downtown, or you work in Somerville, you work in North Charleston, you don't want to be in a predicament to where you're going into traffic or going against traffic. So you got to think. There's a lot of things to take into consideration, and just preparing your mind for all these different variables you got to think about.
Yeah, that's some good points, Gavin. You hit a bunch of good points, brother. I think a lot of times, I know on Teach Me Tuesday, we talk about a lot of the technicals, right? Like, have this credit score, have this amount of money in the account. My debt to income needs to be XYZ or whatever. But like, I don't think a lot of times we talk about that, the intangible, like the mindset that we need to have, when we step into home ownership, right? Like, there are things that come up. There are things that come up when you buy a home that we don't talk about. That I feel like as a realtor, I get those calls. Like when something goes wrong, guess what? A lot of times they don't call the plumber or the electrician; they call the realtor, right? Like, you sold me this house, like, and I think one of the things that kind of set on my heart is I don't want people to think I'm just selling them a house. I want them to teach them how to be a home owner, because it's a difference. A lot of people can buy a house, but you can still have a renter mentality after you buy the home. You see
You're
what I'm saying?
preaching now.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I've noticed that, like, there's some challenge. Don't get me wrong. There's some challenges that do come up when you buy a house. Guess what? Something is going to go wrong. Something is going to break. You know, everything every day is not going to be, sunny in your new home. In your brand new home. You're going to have to call someone to repair something. You're going to have to call somebody to fix something. There are going to be issues that come up, but guess what? It's still a privilege to be a homeowner. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I always tell people
Absolutely.
it's still a privilege to be a homeowner. And I want us to kind of help people get in that mindset. All right, let's take responsibility when we become homeowners. That's one of the things we have to do, is take responsibility when we become homeowners. You are the landlord now. You own this piece of dirt. You own this property. So you have to figure out, when something happens, you're going to have to call who? You, in order to make sure that these issues get fixed. You know what I'm saying? Now, am I saying don't call your realtor? No, I have a ton of resources that are people that I can put you in contact with to probably rectify that issue. If it's septic, I got a septic. One of my good friends calls me Mr. I got a guy, right? Because I got a guy for it from the roof all the way down to the foundation of the house, because I deal with homes on a daily basis, and I deal with investors that need people to fix certain things. So I'm it's not a bad thing to call your realtor, but what I want you to understand is, hey, as a homeowner, you want to take on the responsibility of being a homeowner. That's part of having the right mindset.
That's really good. That's really, really good. And I'm glad that you said that, because what made me think about what came across my mind when you were, talking, and even when Gavin was talking as well, was when you're wanting to buy a house and you're trying to, really get your mindset in that frame of, okay, how do I prepare? What do I need to do? What does this really mean? And so to me, education is everything for me. Education is to me is critical in this process, but it's even more critical, I would say, being educated from the proper source, right? Because sometimes you can get education from the internet, you can get it from social media, you can get it from friends, from family, and so forth. Not to say that these people are wrong, it's just that sometimes if you don't have the right context to this education, or if this is not applicable to your particular financial situation, your background, your area, your location, then sometimes you can be misinformed thinking that you're doing your due diligence, doing the research to purchase a home. And
Mhm.
so, and that can really mess up a person's mindset. It can kind of derail them because they have these false expectations in their head. And when they go out and they're shopping or they're trying to pursue a mortgage and things like that, they're either coming up short or they're disappointed or they're frustrated because the education that they have or the information that they have is not quite, lining up with what they have already put preconceived in their head. And so I tell
Absolutely.
people that if you're wanting to buy a house, like truly research and go after the professionals. Take a home buyer education course. Truly reach out to a loan officer. Reach out to a realtor that's going to refer you to a loan officer. So that way you can ask specific questions. You can get that information. You can have, your credit pooled. You can get a review of your finances so that you can know where you are, so that when you're out there shopping, you're out there looking, you'll know how far your money can go. And I think that
Mhm.
is key when you're trying to figure out, okay, do I want to buy a house? Is it the right time for me to buy a house? Can I even buy a house?
Mhm.
Is what I say there as well.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean that brings me to what we try and put out, what we try and do as far as home buyer workshops, guys. We are so committed to giving free information and education, you know, to our people, to people who need this information, because it's not taught, it's not given to you in a format to where um, it's digested just regularly. So that's why we constantly are pouring out and reaching out to find out what areas can we help provide information about home buying. Where can we introduce home buying to people who never thought about it before. um, and man, I mean, I'm thankful. The local library in Orangeburg and places here in Charleston. We get the opportunities to come into communities and throw it and give that information out for those who are seeking it. But you have to seek it, guys. You got to have a mindset to where you get it, just like how when we purchased our first home, we had the motivation that we didn't want to rent anymore. We didn't want to live. We didn't want to continue to put up with the conditions of having to bounce from apartment complex to apartment complex. That was our motivating factor. You have to stay motivated in your home buying process, your home search, your whatever it may be for you. That's encouraging you to get out there and say, "Hey, I want to become a homeowner." It could just be that, man, you're a gardener and the apartment complex don't have no place for you to put a garden. You want to garden, you wanted your own garden. So you
Mhm.
went out and purchased the home so that you can create this magnificent garden. Man, you got to keep that motivation. You got to keep that at the forefront and know that, hey, this is why I'm doing this. Or it could just be, I don't want to pay rent anymore. If you when you get out of the mindset that, man, this is becoming a lot, or you know this isn't what I was expecting it to be, or this isn't what my friend went through, or this isn't what Susie down the road told me that she did. No, you can't think like that. You got to get out of the mindset of knowing that, hey, this is a different experience, a different time, and this is your unique experience. And just have the mindset that I'm motivated because of this factor, and I need to hold on to that motivation and let that drive me to get to the promised land of being a homeowner.
Gavin, let me plug in right there, brother. My pastor had a message on Sunday, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
title of his message was "Feed Your Yes." Okay, feed your yes, and he was referring to remembering what made you say yes to Christ. Okay,
Right.
he was referring to your why on why you're doing something. Okay, so remember why you wanted to buy that home. Remember why you wanted to be a homeowner. Why? Because a lot of times when you go through those struggles, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that reason why you said yes to home ownership. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, bro, I can tell you this. I remember when I bought my house. And I'm not ashamed to say the story. Um, and I think I talked about this one time. Man, I lived with my mom, my dad, My wife and my kid lived with my mom and my dad for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Mhm.
But we had to constantly remind ourselves, why are we doing this? Because we can easily go get an apartment. We
Mhm.
can get one tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But we wanted to be homeowners. And the thing that we laid our hat on was the reason why we want to be homeowners. And this is why we stuck it out. You see what I'm saying? And even when you buy your house, right? And I remember when I bought my current home, and shoot, I bought my house in September. Guess what? Doggone May, my HVAC went out. Right. So, like, and I was like, man. But guess what? One of the things, this is a tip, guys. One of the things that can help you out, okay, in that time of need, let's say something breaks down, like a major appliance, like your HVAC system. It's good to have a home warranty.
Absolutely.
Okay. It wasn't something I got from the seller. Didn't know I can negotiate that with the seller because I didn't have a realtor. Okay. So if I would have had, maybe my realtor would have told me, hey man, you can get a home warranty with your house in case something happens because your HVAC unit has some age on it. It's working at the time. That don't mean it's gonna be working later. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So HVAC went out. Thank God I had a home warranty. Had to pay a little deductible, but they fixed my unit. Okay. During the heat of the summer. Came in the clutch. You know what I'm saying? Wife wasn't happy. Wife was hot. Nothing like a hot wife. Not, but you know what I'm talking about. So, but like I'm just saying, Gab, you hit a great point. Remember, why. Remember, why you're trying to be a homeowner. That's going to help your mindset when it's time to be a homeowner, or going through the challenges, or going through the home buying process, guys. There are challenges there too. Guess
Mhm.
what? Your offer might not get accepted the first time. It might not.
Or the second, or the third.
Yeah. You might miss out on a couple houses. Why? Because there's still a lot of people out there looking for houses. Nobody's talking about that. Okay. You're not the only one looking for a house. So I'm always prepping my clients when we're going out there. Hey, we're going to win. But a lot of times they have to, fall a couple times before they realize, all right, I need to come with my game face.
I want to jump in on it because I know what you probably have experienced because I mean we hear stories and
Mm-hmm.
just with where we are in the market, man,
Yeah.
having that mindset of going out to win, you also got to create the buyer has to now have the mindset that if I want to win, if this is what I want, I have to I can't be so honed in on, man, I got to get a deal. I got to find. I need to feel like I won something out of this, other than me purchasing this home. And speak to that, man. Speak to that. Having to try and when you go, that from your experience, this house been on the market for X amount of days. You know, they're not going to accept an offer below value or whatever right off the hand. Talk to that and how that affects the mindset.
So let me say this, guys. I kind of, based off my experience in the market, I have seen where clients get great deals on houses. Don't get me wrong, they're out there. However, you got to ask yourself this: if a house has been on the market for a long period of time, okay, there's probably some wiggle room there. Okay, but if it just hit the market 2 days ago, and you think you're going to come in way under ask price and try to get that seller to come down when it just hit the market and you submitted an offer, guess what? I want you to put yourself in the seller's shoes. Oh man, I got an offer the first day I put it on the market. I might need to wait a little bit so I to get a better offer.
Mhm.
I always tell people, like, if this is the house for you, if you believe that this is your home, don't play around. Don't play around with it. Like seriously, because especially in a market like Columbia, Charleston, even Orangeburg, certain price points, if you come around the corner and you're not prepared to win, prepared to be disappointed. I'm gonna say it again. If you're not prepared to win, prepare to be disappointed.
Go ahead.
All right, because it's like this. You got to understand, especially if you got a price point that's pretty competitive or in high demand. In Orangeburg, it's at 150 to 200 price range. That's Orangeburg. That's not like Charleston, Somerville. That price point probably don't exist in those areas. Okay, but in Orangeburg, 3 bed, 2 bath in that price range, and it's fully updated, guys. I'm telling you,
Gone.
hey, it's feast or famine when it comes to those type of deals around here. But if the house, let me tell you when you can probably get your deals. If the house is not on the market, right, and it's maybe a for sale by owner or something like that, you might can get a deal that way. But once that house hits the market, guess what? Everybody sees it. Everybody in their agent sees it. And they're going to say, hey, I want to see this house. And they might have 10, 11 showings scheduled already. And you think your offer is the only one. And I hate to, disappoint you, but like, just understand within that price range, it's going to be tough. Okay. But with an aggressive offer, and I can tell you what an aggressive offer is, you can lock down that house, but you got to come to win. So.
I'm so glad you said that, though. And but this, to me, this goes back to just the, kind of like the beginning of what we've been talking about. Is education. I mean, education is important, but it's really not just reading something, but we have an 8-year-old where she's in 3rd grade, so she's learning how not just reading something, but getting the understanding and the comprehension behind what these things mean. And so I'm going to give a little plug because we are doing a home buyer seminar in Orangeburg next month on December the 2nd. So definitely, if you guys are looking for one, it is at the library in Orangeburg. So definitely come by, get the knowledge. And the reason I say that is because that if you don't understand the market, if you don't understand the loan process, if you don't understand what does it mean to when you can be aggressive or when you need to kind of play to win type thing, then it can truly derail this whole process for you. And it really can impact and affect your mindset when it comes to, okay, I want to buy a house. So back to this preparation stage, when you sit down and you have now made the choice and decision, you have your why, because I want to kind of recap what we're talking about here is when we talk about the mindset of real estate, where do you need to be mentally to truly move past your own fears, your own procrastination, your own just whatever you want to call it, where it keeps you stagnant, anxiety, all these other terms that's real, that's out there, that prevents you from moving forward, right? So 1, you need to make sure that you're properly educated. 2, you need to make sure that you're working with experienced professionals that you trust and that you're comfortable with working with to guide you through this process. Yeah. 2, you need to understand where you are. Like Wilmot said, if you are only qualified to buy in a very competitive price point, then what does that look like versus someone who can get whatever they want? They want a $400,000 loan, they can get it. Can that person be more picky? Yeah. They got more money, they have more things, but if you have limited resources, meaning that you ain't trying to put no money down, you need closing costs, you want to close within 30 days or less, you want all these things that becomes barriers and kind of make your offer less and less attractive, then you need to make sure that you're understanding how do you pursue that? How do you really go about making these things happen? So having the right expectations set with yourself, because one of the things that I like to say, when you think about your why, because that's what's going to motivate you, that's what's going to ground you, that's what's going to give you the discipline to keep moving forward and when things get tough, when the rubber hits the road, right? And so when you hit that point and you're trying to make sure that you're prepared to move forward, like what's going to be your deal breakers, right? If you see a house that has everything you want, it's in your budget where you can get your loan approved, are you going to walk away because you don't like the color paint on the wall? You know what I mean?
You hitting some points on me right now. Like, I love my home buyers, right? I love them, and it's tough sometimes because It's hard. Sometimes it's hard for them to see like the big picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it might not have the paint you want. It might not have the floors you were dreaming of, you know. But if this home is something that will uh, fulfill the bulk of your needs and wants, you know,
Mhm.
you really need to think
Say that
hard.
again. I like how you said that. Say that again. If this home will fulfill.
Fulfill the bulk of your needs, okay, at this time, then you really need to think hard about this property, okay? Because especially like you said, if there's a challenge with resources or buying power, you really need to see, sometimes I get it. I'm not trying to rush you to buy a house, but you also need to see what's available out there and what has been available over the past couple months to see what you can actually purchase at this price point and what's the likelihood of you getting every single thing on your list. Okay. Don't get me wrong, guys. I believe what God got for you, it is for you. Okay. But let me tell you something. You can limit me as well. You're gonna have me preaching on this thing in a little bit.
Oh, no mercy.
But you can limit yourself with your mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. You can limit yourself with your mindset. Is that paint gonna stop you from buying a whole house? You see what I'm saying? Like, and you can possibly paint that whole house for a fraction of the cost of the home. You see what I'm saying? Or if it's
Mm-hmm.
something like that, guys, guess what? Tell us, we can might negotiate that in the price point of the house or with closing costs. Maybe a
Mhm.
credit after closing. Different ways to get around certain things, guys. Don't let the small stuff affect the big stuff. Okay. Don't major in the minor stuff. Okay.
I'm major in the minor stuff.
That's it.
Man,
That's really
so,
good stuff. Were
oh
you gonna say
yeah,
something?
no, no, I was just gonna I mean, I know we're getting close to our time here, but man, mindset. I know we're all passionate about it, and we're all excited about how to help mold people in that state of mind to
Yeah.
prepare yourselves for this next big chapter in your life, because we all know that, man, as homeowners, it it's no greater feeling than coming to something that's yours.
Yeah.
um, and
Yeah.
and also I love where you touched on, it's not just becoming a homeowner, but it's also now having a homeowner's mentality. It's taking pride in what you own, taking pride in the upkeep of your home, the renovations, whatever it is that
Yeah.
makes it meaningful to you. you know
Absolutely.
it, that having that mindset just is just it's life changing in a sense.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
guys, definitely, I hope this was um, rewarding to you in a sense. I hope that it may have introduced a new way of thinking or introduced some ideas, got some things just going in your head, like, yeah, let me set this aside, or let me reevaluate this so that I can move forward in my process and let my why be my motivation, and break those barriers that were there that were preventing you from either putting in that offer or finding out more information, or
Hmm.
just and just getting in the state of mind that home ownership is for me and it's attainable.
Hmm.
um, so with that being said, unless you guys got something more to add.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one thing before we get off. And so I was really just really thinking about this, right? Because most people, I truly feel and believe, are not prepared mentally, like we said, to buy a house. Whatever they circumstance may come to be, where they're like, okay, yeah, I want to buy a house, right? But what they don't really stop and think about, right, is what does home ownership really mean, right? Yes, it's a place to stay.
Hmm.
Yes, it's memories, and it's things that you can host at your home and things like that. But like you said before, Wilmot, the big picture of it, right? The wealth aspect that home ownership creates
Hmm.
many Americans, for many people in this country.
Yeah.
Sometimes that part I feel gets lost,
Yeah.
because people are so much so focused on just the living aspect. Well, I need to live here because I work here. I want my kids to be in this school, and I want this and I want that. And they have this whole checklist. which is all important, and it does matter. But the bigger picture of it as well is that wealth driving aspect that home ownership brings to you and your family and to generations to come. And
Yeah.
if you don't ever own anything, then what legacy can you leave? What
Well,
wealth can you pass on to your offspring? That
yeah.
stuff doesn't occur when you're renting, or if you're just living with parents, or you're living in a relative house that you're never, put on that deed or something like that. That stuff is ceased to exist when you don't own it yourself. So
Yeah.
also putting that inside of your mindset of the true benefits of home ownership in addition to just the living aspect.
Yeah. You said something, LaShawn, and I don't know why I deal with a lot of single moms, right? And they purchase a lot of homes. I've seen a lot of single moms. Shout out to all the single moms out there buying property. And one of the things I will say is this, and I remember one in particular. She said, I want to buy this for not just for me, but for my kids, and so that her kids, could see her mom buy a home, and didn't depend on, and I hate didn't depend on a man to buy it for. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way to men, but like, I thought that was admirable. I can't say the word. I
You
thought
said
I appreciated what she did to show her kids that example, of her doing that. I think she could, as she lives her life, she can probably look back and say that was one of the things that I'm most proud of in my life, to show my kids I was able to be a homeowner, and they
mhm.
can be homeowners,
Mhm.
So
That's
um,
good. That's
admirable,
very good.
admirable.
Yeah, guys. So take
Admirable.
take take those stories. Let them be, motivation and whatever it can be for to fuel, that burning desire to get out of whatever circumstance you may be in,
Yeah,
um, and that's preventing you from becoming a homeowner. Um, we thoroughly enjoyed doing these Teaching Tuesdays, and we hope you got um, just any little piece out of it, whatever you can pull out of it and apply to your journey to home ownership, where that pleases us, because that's all it's about. But guys, if you need to reach us, you want more information, you want us to help you change that mindset. I mean, we're all about it. So you can reach us through social media. We dropped our phone numbers on several different videos. Um, y'all got all the hashtags and stuff to talk about. I'll let y'all tell us where they can reach us at.
well, you can find me like Facebook. Just DM me, send me a message. YouTube. You can watch these videos as well on YouTube. The Very Good Book about EXP Realty. Also, you can catch me on Instagram as well. But if you need my email, it's Wilmont at theberrygroupre.com. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text. Be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, and you can definitely find me. I'm on all social media platforms besides Twitter. I never got into Twitter for some reason, but you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm LaShawn Abraham. I finally got TikTok, so I'm LaShawn Abraham as well. YouTube is Team Abraham, all things mortgage. If you want to send us an email, you can just send it to teamabraham@gillmortgage.net, and we are happy to help. We're happy to serve. And we're happy to assist you guys with whatever you may need in this space of homeownership. So until next time, we will talk to you good people next time.
Peace out.
All right, guys. Have a good one.